So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get retirement tax planning leads, appointments, and clients with people that are actually interested in learning how you can help them save money in taxes during retirement. And you'll be able to do this without using any traditional strategies like having to go to networking events, relying on referrals, going to seminars, cold calling, or anything else like that. So let me get started with what I found is the best way to start getting retirement tax planning leads, appointments, and clients, and that is with Meta ads. So with Meta ads, that includes both Facebook and Instagram because it's part of the same company. And with Meta ads, the reason it works so well is because number one, it's very scalable, which means there's a huge audience of retirees and pre-retirees that would be potentially interested in how you can help them. And number two, the AI algorithm or Meta's platform when it comes to running ads is extremely powerful and good when it comes to getting your ad in front of the right people. However, Meta ads is only as good as the strategy that you're using. So again, Meta is just a tool. So when you run Facebook ads or Instagram ads, it's just a tool. And like any tool, it's only as good as how you use that tool. So it's the same thing with running Facebook and Instagram ads on Meta. The tool can be very powerful, but you need to use it in the right way. So how do you actually use this in the right way? Well, the first thing that you need to do, and this is probably what affects 80% of the results, you need to make sure that you have the right messaging. So you need to attract the leads with the correct messaging. If you don't get the messaging right, then it doesn't matter what you do, the ads are not going to work very well. The messaging is kind of related to the strategy that you use, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the strategy later on. But for now, just focusing on the messaging, you need to be specific with how you can help people solve a big, painful problem that they have. And then you need to explain what are some alternative solutions to solve this problem. And then more importantly, you need to finally then explain why is your solution or why is working with you better than those alternative solutions. If you can do those things, then logically, you'll be able to take someone from a stranger that has maybe never heard about you before to someone that actually starts to think, hey, yeah, this makes sense. And this actually sounds quite interesting. I'd like to learn more. And you need to take them through that process, because if someone just sees an ad online with a big promise or whatever it might be, it might sound good. They might even fill out the form to learn more, but they're not really going to be that interested because you're missing the trust element. And trust is critical, especially when it comes to saving money on retirement taxes. And if you're targeting people that have more investable assets and things like that, you're going to have to build up more trust than just compared to if you're just selling maybe some low price product in some sort of e-commerce store. So when you're running ads for a service business, especially if maybe you're a financial advisor or you're helping people with money, it does require a lot of trust for people to number one, work with you, and number two, also schedule a call to work with you or to learn more about working with you in the first place. So how do you actually do that? Well, let me give you an example. Let's say, again, you're a financial advisor, you're helping people save $500,000 in taxes during their retirement. So straight away, that message is going to capture people's attention. Also, if you say that you're going to help them save a large amount in retirement taxes, it's going to naturally attract people that do have more in investable assets, simply because if you said we can help you save, I don't know, $10,000 in retirement taxes or $20,000, it's not really going to make a big difference to people that have more in investable assets. So that's why it's good to talk about how you help people solve a big, painful problem. So for the clients that we have that do retirement tax planning, usually the range can be anywhere from $100,000 on the low end to maybe upwards of $850,000 on the higher end. Again, it can vary from client to client depending on what they do, the strategies they use, and things like that. So I just put $500,000 here, sort of like in the middle. But again, it could be more or less. But the point is, it needs to be a number where it's big enough that it gets people interested in learning more and wanting to find out about how you can actually help them. But at the same time, you shouldn't have a number that's too big where maybe it's just unrealistic or it sounds too good to be true. So when it comes to your messaging, that's the first thing you need to do. You need to talk about a big, painful problem that you can potentially help them with. Once you've done this, the next thing you need to do is you need to talk about alternative solutions to this problem. So for example, an alternative solution could be maybe working with their CPA. So they could work with their CPA or their accountant to try and save money on taxes in retirement. But then you could explain the cons of doing that. And the cons would be that maybe not all CPAs or not all accountants are actually efficient at saving money in taxes, especially when it comes to retirement taxes. So you could say they might be really good at filing taxes, but they may not necessarily be good at saving money in retirement taxes or in planning in advance how to save money in retirement taxes. And you could explain that most CPAs and accountants, they just look backwards. They don't look forwards. So they look at what you've already done rather than what you should be doing in the future to potentially save money in taxes. And that's just one alternative solution. Another one could be maybe working with another financial advisor that doesn't specialize in retirement tax planning, or it could be trying to figure this out on their own by researching different information online. There's lots of alternative solutions that you could use. And the point is, you want to tell people what these alternative solutions are, what are the problems with these alternative solutions. And then finally, when you do that, you can logically move to the next step, which is why is working with you better than those alternative solutions. If you do that, people will logically see why working with you is the better option. And then they will trust you more because you've actually explained in a logical way how you can actually help them and why your method, your solution, or your strategy, or whatever it is, why it is actually better than other alternative solutions. And then they will be more motivated to want to schedule that call to learn more about how you can help them. Now, obviously, I can't go into too much detail as to how we specifically do that. This is something that we do for our clients. So if you are interested in getting us to do all of this for you at any point in this video, you can always click the link in the description of this video to watch my free masterclass training, because that goes through how the strategy works in more detail. And if you like what you hear, you can also click on a link below the video to schedule a call with us, and we can go through how we can either show you how to do this and consult you, or how we can just do everything for you as part of our done for you service. So once you have the messaging done, the next thing you need to do is you need to train the Facebook pixel as to who is and who is not a good lead for you. So we do that by pre-qualifying people. So the messaging on its own is going to attract the right people, but there still might be some people that are curious and they want to learn more, but they're not exactly the right fit. So we want to try our best to try and filter all these people out so that you don't waste your time and you only speak to people that are genuinely interested in learning more about how you can help them, and that they're qualified for you to actually be able to help them in the first place. So one of the simplest ways you can do this is by asking questions on an opt-in form. So when someone clicks on the ad, the next step you can take them to is what's called an opt-in page. And it's a page where people enter their contact information to get access to a free educational video that explains how you can help them solve the problem that we're talking about. So in this case, it's, the problem is saving money in retirement taxes. So they're going to enter their, let's say, their name and email as an example in order to watch that free video. But on that form, what we can also do is we can also ask additional questions to pre-qualify them further. So we could ask, do you have a certain amount in investable assets? So, it could be, do you have $250,000 or more in investable assets? If they select yes, then they're a good fit. If they select no, then we just politely say that we probably won't be able to help them. So by doing this, it filters the wrong people out. So only the right people fill out the form and then go to the next stage and actually become a lead. Another way you could do this is by asking their age. So if age is important, which for most of our clients it is, because if they're too old, for example, they can't always help them. And if they're too young, they might also not be able to help them. So again, if age is important to you, we can also add that as one of the pre-qualifying questions. So you want to find the right balance between asking some pre-qualifying questions that will filter people out, but at the same time, don't ask too many questions where it, becomes a bit too much friction for the ones that are a good fit, because you're asking too many questions at the start. Because remember, these ads are going to people that have never heard about you before. So you want to strike that right balance between not asking for too much information because they've never heard about you before, but also still asking for some information just to make sure that you don't get the wrong kind of people going into your sales funnel. So once you've done that, what will happen is, if the right kind of people fill out the form, the Facebook pixel will start to notice who is and who is not a good fit. And then once it sees the kinds of leads that are a good fit, it automatically starts to show you ads to more of those kinds of people. So automatically, without you doing anything, Facebook is optimizing your ads to help you get better and better results. So that's why it's so important that we train the Facebook pixel to get in front of the right people with these pre-qualifying questions and with the messaging that I mentioned earlier. Now, the next step when you're running ads is to use a video sales letter to build trust. So a video sales letter, or a VSL, is simply a simple educational video that explains to people how you can help them, why your solution is better than other alternative solutions. And if they want to learn more about your solution, they can then click on a button below the video to schedule a call to learn more about working with you. So this is really important, because if you just get someone to fill out a form online and then maybe they enter their name, email, and phone number, but that's all they've done, chances are they're probably not going to be very warm. So if you then need to chase that lead, which is what everyone else is doing when it comes to lead generation and digital marketing and things like that, they're getting leads to fill in a form and then they're chasing them to get an appointment. You're going to be wasting a lot of your time, because most people are not really going to be interested in speaking with you. So what we would rather do instead, and this is what we do for our clients, is we would rather have leads chasing you. So we do that with the video sales letter. So if people watch a maybe 3 to 7 minute video that explains how you can help them and why your solution is better than other alternative solutions, and you actually educate them and build some value first, and then after watching that video, if they like what they hear in that video, they are the ones that then schedule a call to work with you. That call is usually going to be a much better quality call compared to someone that just filled out a random form online. So that's why we send people to a video sales letter next, or the next part of the sales funnel that we use for our clients. And this whole system where we have the opt-in page, we have the video page, we also usually have an application page just to pre-qualify them even more. Then after they book an appointment, we have a call confirmation page. This whole process is part of what we call an automated appointment funnel. So it's a way to get strangers who have never heard about you before to actually enter their name and email, which is kind of them raising their hand to say that yes, they're interested in learning more about how you can help them, and then educating them a little bit more with a video sales letter, and then motivating them to schedule a call in your calendar so that you get booked appointments on your calendar without you having to do anything. Literally, the whole process is automated. There's no chasing leads or anything like that, because there will be some leads that don't book an appointment, and that's fine. You know, we're still going to have automatic ways to follow up with them, but it's not going to be done manually. So we have things like automatic follow-up emails that will go out to the leads that don't schedule a call straight away. But the point is that the whole process can be automated so that you can save time and you can focus on what you do best, which is talking to potential clients and helping your existing clients. So that's the whole point of this system and the process that we use. Again, if you want to learn more how that works, just click the link in the description of this video to watch my free masterclass training, because that goes through how it all works in more detail. So the next channel that you can use, which works in a similar way to Meta ads, it might surprise you, and that is TikTok ads. So TikTok ads for some clients has worked really, really well. For other clients, Facebook ads has worked better. So for most clients, we typically recommend testing both and just see which one works better for you. But with TikTok, what makes it unique is that you can actually target people by age. So you can select on TikTok the age group 55 and over. So that means no one young on TikTok is going to see your ad. It's only going to go to those that are over 55 years old. So a lot of people sometimes tell me, oh, I don't want to use TikTok because it's just, you know, for young people. But the reality is you can just target older people if that is what you prefer on TikTok by selecting the age group. Now, you might be wondering, well, why would I use TikTok instead of Facebook ads? What would be the advantage if I could just do the same kind of thing on Facebook? Well, the biggest advantage with TikTok ads is that there are less advertisers on that platform. So most advertisers or most businesses are advertising on, you know, the big platforms like Facebook and Google. Those are probably the biggest two, right? And by Facebook, that includes Instagram because it's the same company, and Google, that also includes YouTube ads because it's the same company. So most people are advertising there. And what that means is that if you advertise on TikTok, because there are less advertisers, it means there's less competition, which means that you can generate leads for a lower cost per lead. And you can also get a lower cost per appointment simply because there's less advertisers on that platform. Now, it won't be like this forever. So obviously, as more people start to use TikTok ads, the prices will start to increase. But as of right now, there are still less people advertising on these platforms compared to Facebook, Instagram, Google, and YouTube. So that's one reason why it might be a good channel to at least test to see how it goes and how it compares to Facebook ads. But the downside with that is that the audience size is not as large as Facebook and Instagram. So that means it's not as scalable. So if you start spending maybe more than $500 a day with TikTok ads, you can start to potentially saturate your audience. Again, depending on your audience size. So just things to keep in mind. They each have pros and cons. So if you have a smaller budget, maybe $100 a day or even $50 a day, TikTok ads might potentially be better. If you have bigger budgets, TikTok ads can still work, but it can reach the point because the audience size is not as big as Facebook and Instagram where you saturate that audience. So again, my recommendation is to test both for 30 days and see which one works better for you. Because for some clients it's Facebook, for others it's TikTok. So by testing both, you'll know exactly which one works better for you and your business. And then whatever one ends up working better for you, you can spend the rest of your budget on that specific platform moving forward. And when you're advertising on TikTok, it works in the exact same way as advertising on Facebook. So they still go through the same process. They still go through the page where they enter their name and email, you pre-qualify them, you train the pixel, you then send them to a educational video that explains how you can help them. They go through the same funnel. The only difference is that it's a different traffic source. So one is running ads on Facebook and Instagram and the other one is running ads on TikTok, but they all end up going to the same place and you still get the same outcome, which is booked appointments on your calendar. Now, what if you don't want to spend any money on paid advertising? Are there other alternatives that you can use to start generating leads and appointments, maybe at an even lower cost? And yes, there is. So the next channel would be YouTube, and that would be creating organic YouTube videos. And what you may not know about YouTube is that most high net worth individuals actually use YouTube more than any other social media platform. So more than Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or anything else. Most high net worth individuals, if that is your audience that you want to target, they are going to be on YouTube more than any other platform. So I don't have the stats with me, but I remember reading that in the past. So you can always Google that if you want to check the stats for yourself. But that is generally what most statistics say, that most high net worth individuals are using YouTube more than any other platform. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind, which is one of the things that makes it really attractive, is that you can generate leads on YouTube for free. So you can get both leads, appointments, and clients for free. And you can do this because if you create videos, the same way that when you create, ads on Facebook and TikTok, the algorithm is matching the ad to the right person. On YouTube, if you create a good video, YouTube's algorithm will automatically match the video to the right people for you. The only difference is that on when you're running paid ads, you're paying to get in front of people. So it's going to be much faster in terms of getting results. But with YouTube, because you're not paying them, they go a little bit slower. So they start testing your video to a smaller audience first. If the audience likes it, then they start sending it to more people and so on. And then the video just gradually starts getting seen by more people, but it doesn't happen really fast. It usually happens slowly, especially if you're new on YouTube and you're creating videos for the first time. But the other great thing about YouTube is that it is also evergreen and automated, which means you can create a video once. And I've created videos for my own business years ago. And that video that you've created maybe years ago, that video can still generate leads and appointments every single month consistently. So this is why YouTube is very powerful, because not only are you getting leads for free and you're getting appointments for free, but it's also 100% automated. So once you've recorded the video, you don't have to do any extra work to get the leads and appointments. And it's also 100% evergreen, which means you can get leads and appointments from that one video for many months and sometimes even years into the future. And the only downside with YouTube is that it does take time to record the videos. And like I mentioned, growth takes time. It could be maybe 3 to 6 months or more, depending on how many videos you create. But I would recommend to just get started with maybe 1 or 2 videos to begin with. So 1 or 2 videos per week. And that should just take you maybe 1 or 2 hours to create those videos. And 1 to 2 videos a week should start getting you results within 3 to 6 months. For some clients, it's quicker. For some, it takes a bit longer, but 3 to 6 months is usually the average that I found in terms of the length of time that it takes to start getting leads and appointments coming through consistently from YouTube. Now, one of the bonus things about using YouTube is that if you create YouTube videos, it can also help you get better results with your paid advertising. And the reason for this is that if someone sees your YouTube video and then they see one of your ads on Facebook or TikTok or wherever it is, because they've already seen your YouTube videos, they are going to be more inclined to actually trust you. And then as a result, they're going to be more inclined to click on the ad and then convert. And that means you'll get leads for a lower cost and you'll get appointments for a lower cost if you're using both YouTube and also paid advertising at the same time. So for our clients, we recommend doing both if they can. That said, we do have some clients that they only do YouTube. We have other clients that they only do paid advertising, but the clients that are getting the best results are the ones that are doing both. So that will be my recommendation to you as well. And then finally, once you've generated leads, the last thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you follow up with them automatically, consistently, because the reality is, even if you have the best marketing in the world, most leads will not convert straight away. So that's why it's very important that you have a way of following up with them automatically. So we do this with email marketing. We found email marketing works really well to get leads to convert over a period of time. And when it comes to creating emails that you send out to your leads, we recommend just creating helpful emails that build trust. So this could be other blogs or even written information that you've created that provides helpful tips and guides and things like that. And it could also be your YouTube videos. So the YouTube videos that you create, you can also send those as well to your leads in the follow-up emails. Something else that also works really well in converting leads into appointments and clients is your testimonials and sharing case studies and things like that. And even if you have to make them anonymous, they can still work really well. So you don't always need to share a specific client example. You can just maybe create an anonymous example and just say, here's an example for illustrative purposes of how someone could get XYZ result. So that can also work well if you don't even have any testimonials yet. You can still use illustrative examples to help people visualize what the result could be. And in terms of the frequency, I recommend that you email your leads at least once a week for best results. So usually once or twice a week is good. That's usually the balance that I found between not emailing them too much where they start getting annoyed, but also not emailing them too little where they actually forget who you are. So if you need help with doing any of this, if you need help with getting 10 to 30 or more qualified appointments each month with your ideal clients without relying on networking events, referrals, seminars, cold calling, or anything like that, this is exactly what we do. So the best next thing that you can do is click the link in the description of this video to watch my free masterclass training, because that goes through how this whole strategy works in a lot more detail. And then at the end of that video, I'll go through how we can do all of this for you if you just want us to take care of it for you so you don't have to worry about it. And if you like what you hear in that video, then below the video, you'll also be able to schedule a call to learn more about working together. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.